Hello and welcome to this week's platform meeting. It's November the 5th, and I'm putting our meeting notes in the SUMO channel. So for the roundtable, we have one item. Actually, she was supposed to join us today, but maybe so she isn't here. Or maybe she'll join us later. We have one more person on our development team. Her name is Brittany. She's a front-end developer, and I am extremely happy to have her on board.
Brittany?
Yeah.
Oh, she's working for Midmon?
Brittany Starov is on the SUMO team now.
Oh. Okay.
We have, she is replacing, not actually replacing, but we were supposed to have 3 people on our team, and she's now our 3rd person after Wiki left. So it's Mike, Rayhan, and Brittany now.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I can't tell you how happy I am about that. And she, I think, is already starting to look at some of our bugs from the Champions backlog. I'm pretty sure that our champions like to hear that.
What time zone is she in?
She's on the East Coast.
Excellent. Better for the Europeans.
I think it's the best time zone because you get you're in the middle between Europe and the West Coast.
Eastern Standard Time, Cory Doctorow. Read it. I agree.
Yeah, you don't have to get up too early, but at the same time, you don't have to work like until 8 p.m. or anything. So it's just perfect. Anyway, yeah. So maybe she'll join us later and introduce herself. But that's the one I know we have on our roundtable, in our roundtable section. Anything else? Oh, actually, maybe I should say a little bit more about that. So Brittany is joining us, or has joined us this week, but of course she won't be taking part in the sprints from the first day. So the first week or 2, she will need some time to ramp up, and only after that will we have her time for the sprints and for our roadmap items. So yeah, I don't expect her to have a huge impact on our roadmap this quarter, so we still have to plan with just the KPI dashboard. But it's great to have another person on board, which means that we can still do things from our champions backlog as well. All right. Any questions about that? Or comments? All right. Let's move on to the roadmap items. So the first one is unified ask a question page. That's essentially done, but it was blocked by an infrastructure issue that we had. And Mike just told me that it's kind of like we have a workaround, so it's not going to block us from landing things that we have already worked on. So probably today this will go out and be on production. So the next step here is QA, and then after that, and actually probably in parallel with that, testing. And I expect that to really start in earnest on Monday. And then we have the mobile article page. For this, we are going to try something a little bit novel with QA. So most of the parts of this journey have already landed. You've probably seen that already. But one piece has not. That's the search box. It took significantly more time. It was more involved than initially than it looked like in the beginning. So what we're going to do with that, it's like our prototype thing for testing a new workflow. We haven't had QA for quite some time on SUMO. And it's nice to have it. It's nice to have feedback, or nice to know that things are working or not working before you figure it out by accident. Because users are generally not telling us. Contributors, yes, and when we find out things, we file bugs. But oftentimes, user-facing things can break, and we will not know about it. So because we didn't want to go back to the old days of where like everything is being blocked by QA, and we don't even have that many QA resources, we thought about a different way of going about this. So we said anything that's SUMO team facing is going to stay like we will just push it to production, and if we find an issue, then we found a bug. It's like anything that the SUMO team sees is not really, we don't need QA for that up front. So for that, we will do our own QA. For anything that is contributor-facing, we said that's also going on production without QA, because contributors have channels that they can use to talk to us, and they're vocal about things. So if something breaks for a contributor, we will know about that as soon as it hits production. So no problem there. But for users, we don't have that channel, and things might break without us knowing about it. So we said that's where we actually need QA. Luckily, it's not. We don't need a lot of QA resources, because when you look back over the last 12 months, it's mostly smaller things that we change on production for the user-facing stuff. It's mostly like 2 to 3 things a week, and sometimes not even that. So Rebecca, our QA person, can work with that. And what we're going to do now is, and this is again a bit different than before. Before we would push everything to staging, and on staging you need to do like the QA would need to happen before we could move forward. So if our QA person didn't have time, that would mean being blocked by that until it's QA. But that, of course, is like the opposite of being agile. So in the name of still staying agile, but giving us a chance to QA things before they go out to millions of users, we are going to use another environment like the dev environment, not the staging environment. So that's another environment that looks almost exactly like staging and production, but we can push there and not be blocked on like pushing other things to production. So that's what we're going to try out with like the small search thing. So it's going on the development environment, the dev environment, and Rebecca will do the QA there. And if she gives the thumbs up, it's going on staging and production. So Johnny, if you have an eye on the map, that's what's happening there. Like it's going to staging. So you will not see it if you go to sorry, it's going to the dev environment. So you're not going to see it on staging. You're not going to see it on support.alizon.org, which is our staging environment. Mike, now I'm wondering, actually, our dev environment, is that still SUMO dev?
It's support. It's support-dev.alizon.org.
Okay. I'm putting this in here as a note. Alright, the next item we have is the KPI dashboard 2.0. For those, we have partial definitions of KPIs, specifically the community-related ones, so we can move forward with them. We still don't have the full definition of the KPIs for the customer satisfaction. That's because I worked on another presentation this week. But hopefully that should be done by tomorrow. Like I should be done with the other presentation tomorrow, and we can finish that off. I think the main issue there is what we are going to display as helper metrics next to the KPI. Just so you know, like if you click through to the project document, you will see that the remaining one is customer satisfaction for all and per locale. But we need helper metrics to figure out what those actually mean. So I'll get in touch with all of you next week, making sure that we have an agreement on those. But we can already start, and we will already start implementing the KPI dashboard next week, starting with the community KPIs. And with the article helpfulness, we already have done the prioritization last week between Joni, Mike, and me at the guesstimation session. So the next step there is getting the UX. But again, this is not for implementation this quarter, but we're getting everything in place. So once we have the time and we have free time, we can just do the implementation there and not be blocked by anything. So I don't think Brittany is here.
No, I think her and I are Steve, but yeah.
All right, maybe we'll see her next week, and if not, definitely in Orlando. So.
Is she a new hire?
No, she's been at Mozilla for about a year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yay. So I'm really excited about that one. It's gonna be
Yes, welcome, Brittany. Is this recorded? Yes, it is. Woohoo!
All right, awesome. So do we have any specific bug discussions, any last-minute items?
I love product launches and campaigns, as I'm sure Michael does too, Mr. Cooper.
Oh yeah.
Especially when we can't tell our volunteers, which is really aggravating. I let go of the record, say it's really not my style. I've been working open source since 2003. It's really difficult for me. I don't like it. So if we could minimize it, not just the people who are causing it this time, but in the future, for all of us, that would be awesome.
That's true. Okay. Well, in that case, have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you again next week. Take care.
Yes, and thank you for all your work on the November 1 at a time. Platform people and SUMO people.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,